right, welcome back to today's episode. Today, I have a very special guest named Joey Reger. I actually went to high school with Joey, although I wasn't friends with him then. I became friends with him and his family the last couple of years. We've really gotten to know them. And you know what's crazy? I don't know about you, but I am obsessed with hearing people's stories of where they've come from, how they grew up, what they've done in their life with what they've been given. That has just always fascinated me. And ever since I was in like fourth grade, I don't know why, I could sit and listen to interviews with celebrities or entrepreneurs, you name it, all day, and it just sets my heart on fire. Every story that I hear, they're just incredible. And Joey is no exception. He has an incredible story. He did not grow up in, say, the most supportive of families, but he sure has taken everything that he has had and turned it into gold. And it's an incredible story. And I hope that you are inspired to just look at your own life and see what you can do with what you've been given and how you can also pursue your dreams no matter where you came from. Let's welcome Joey. Welcome to the Beautifully Intentional podcast, where I share stories to encourage you to live a more intentional life. Whether it's in your motherhood journey, your friendships, your 9-to-5 job, or pursuing just radical dreams. I believe that sometimes we can just get stuck in the mundane craziness of life, and all it takes is one encouraging word to give us hope to live for something greater. I share stories of living intentional through the simple things like self-care, clean spaces, parenthood, and going after your dreams. My hope is at the end of every episode, there's a fire set deep within your soul that says, I can do this. And that maybe today is your day to find the beauty in the things that go unnoticed and start living a more intentional life. This is Cassandra Lau, and welcome to Beautifully Intentional. Man, Joey, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, yeah, no, thanks for having me.
I'm super pumped about this. Okay, so in the event that people don't know you, I don't know why, nobody would know you, right? Especially in Redlands, small town famous.
Okay.
So just tell us about yourself. Who's Joey? Tell us, and then go into like how you were raised. I mean, like baby Joey up, because that's where like the meat is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just want me to just go?
Yeah, just go for it.
All right. My name is Joey Reger, R-E-G-E-R.
There it
Either
is.
way you spell it. They call those autos or something like that. Race car, Hannah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
Okay.
I'm 32 years old. Born and raised San Bernardino, California. Didn't leave too far from there, living in Mentone. So a little bit about me right quick is I'm a wedding photographer, videographer. I'm a respiratory therapist, have a photo booth company, but it's not really a company. Sure. And then I had the commercial media company, 226 Collective, and I'm too busy and I hate it, but whatever.
Jack of all trades.
I mean, I don't hate it.
No, of course not. Yeah.
I like being my own boss.
Yeah.
I can't work for someone.
No.
Yeah, clients are my boss, and that hurts.
Right.
As one boss right now is bad.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
Yeah,
Seriously.
first. Yeah, that one's weighing me down, but whatever.
Yeah.
I get over it quick.
Yeah. We'll let that one go soon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And, and so basically I was the dad in my family growing up. All my siblings, we had there was me, Jordan, Jacob, Alyssa, Bella, India. So 6 of us.
Right.
And
Are same parents, all 6, or?
No, I'm the only one that's half blood.
Okay.
And they're all semi same.
Okay.
Depending on who she was
semi
with.
The same. Okay.
Yeah. You don't know.
How does semi work?
Well, because I know maybe
the same
3
parents?
of them are from my dad.
Okay. Yeah. It's just in the air.
Because she was not a good.
Sure.
Yeah, mom.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how that went. We can go deep more into that too.
Yeah.
That was just a quick thing, and then I got 3 kids.
Right.
Started when I was 17.
Right.
Purposely.
Right.
I might add.
Okay.
Some people would say that was on accident, but that was straight up on purpose. I was trying to walk.
Was that to trap her?
Exactly. I told her, and she's like, I can't get pregnant. And yeah, you can.
I'll show
this.
you. Yeah. That is amazing. Okay, so you became a dad at 17. Okay. But then you were raising your siblings before that?
Oh, yeah, all my life.
Okay.
Ever since they were born, 1994. I think I was 7 years old.
Okay.
I remember making them macaroni and cheese. I did almost everything because my parents were my dad was always trying to find where she was. I know that my stepmom's friend got murdered.
Okay.
And that put her on a huge drug binge, and she was gone for
Did she do drugs before that, or that's what started it? I think
so.
Okay.
I obviously, like, I was never able to ask them those questions, because I know that when my mom had me, my real mom, she was going through a lot. She had an awful upbringing too, so she, and that's why I don't write it off so much. Like, I know that these things lead to things. Like my dad, my dad was probably an amazing kid, but when he was 13, my grandpa cheated on my grandma with the receptionist at his church.
Perfect. Yeah.
Who he ended up marrying. Right. But being 13, your parents divorce, he lived in Redlands too.
Okay.
And so he ended up just running away into the orange fields and then never looked back. And
like run into the orange fields as in like homeless?
Yeah, he literally ran away. And then and he was telling me he'd live off oranges for a few weeks, and then I don't know what else happened after that, but he obviously ended up leaving and doing his thing. Right. So. Right. And now he's just crazy. See him on the exit of freeways and whatever. Sure. Which is weird. Yeah. But whatever.
So then so at any point did you ever have a parent that was present, or like what was your life like when you're in elementary, like coming home from school, the whole deal? Did you know that things were off, or did you think that things were normal?
They're off. Like, lived in a trailer park, and I guess that early, like first, second grade, you don't really think that kind of stuff. Then third grade, and then you realize that you don't have the best clothes.
Comparisons sets in,
it was big time. And then just like the latest gadgets that are out, you never. I mean, a Tamagotchi, I wanted one of those so bad. Sure, I can remember completely. And are
we talking like Tamagotchi, like the Gigapets?
Yeah, Gigapets. Yeah, I'll never forget that. Just like little stuff. Obviously, that's probably like not that expensive.
That on like $5.99.
Yeah, it probably wasn't that expensive when I was a kid. But whatever I wanted was never a thing, so I never asked. And because my dad was a handyman. He just did flooring. Most tweakers do flooring. It's weird. They do a lot of handyman jobs. It's the weirdest thing.
Because you can just show up and do it whenever you
I guess, and you're just pumped up and on one, so you just get your job done. Yeah. And then there was a time where he was doing great and he made a good business, but he couldn't. His awful relationship with my stepmom killed all of his aspirations and stuff. So because it was an unhealthy relationship, right? And I got to see that firsthand. And so that's also plays into like my character now of like, it is hard for me to touch just because I don't know, like if I get hugged or something by my children, like it's hard for me to melt in that, I guess. Sure. I just get like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's like, okay, I love you. Like, but I'll always verbalize I love you because my parents did that. They would always say I love you off the phone, in person. That was a thing. And I know a lot of parents don't do that, which is really weird to me. Which is obviously it's weird to me because I grew up like that. Sure. But touch was never a thing. Yeah. Just because I don't know why, honestly. Right. And there was no like words of affirmation, nothing like that. Right. So I had to seek it for attention in crazy ways. I got expelled from elementary school because I was trying to get attention so hard.
What did you do to get expelled?
Spread rumors of nasty things that girls do. I don't know. Because I was shown to a sexual world so early on. So I mean, I was looking at pornography when I was 5 years old. I remember me and my dad's magazines. Yeah. And I think it was arousing. I don't remember, but I remember that like it was like, oh my gosh, and I'd feel
intriguing
so
enough to keep
guilty.
Going back.
Oh yeah. I'd go to his shed and be like, oh my gosh. And I had a tree house. He built me this tree house because he's on one. He can build stuff.
Oh, for sure.
He built me this tree house, and I used to hide it in a tree stump on the top. Like it was just I had a really unhealthy relationship with that stuff because obviously. Yeah. Yeah. I remember one time I found his magazine under a cushion and I told my stepmom, and then that time like he like threw me against the wall. I'll never forget that one. Yeah. And it's like, dude, I'm in third grade. That's crazy.
What was it about under the cushion? I remember my mom had this boyfriend and we were at his apartment, and I remember like adjusting the cushion and then finding like porn under there, and I was like, and same thing, like middle of the living room. Yeah. Like I was like probably 8 or 9 years old. I'm like, what's this? Oh my god, we're in third grade.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But like, I don't know, under the cushion. How old school is that?
I can't even imagine my kids.
Do they even print that stuff anymore? I don't even know.
I don't know. I have no clue. I just can't imagine someone at that age seeing stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now being on the other side. It's like I can't even imagine.
Oh, it's crazy.
Right.
And I mean, he was smoking weed around me all the time. That was normalized. So like that's why like now I don't even care if people smoke weed. Like it never affects me because I'm like, it's fine. Right. Like if you can function and do your life, I understand.
Right.
So
And then,
I've
but
never
did
been
he
against
did
it.
more drugs than that, though? Yeah.
Yeah, his drug of choice was meth.
Okay. Did you ever like
Towards
see
the
him
end, he was doing
meth?
crack. My siblings saw him do crack towards the end because he was just done. That was when we ended up getting my siblings when I was 19. So
okay,
yeah.
But leading up to that, so the whole time when you're a kid, dad's on drugs, and then you have the stepmom. But where's your birth mom?
Start this off. Now she's doing great. She was just at my house yesterday.
Oh, good.
She's
Good for
doing
her.
wonderful. Sober for like 2 years now. She really turned her life around. She was in and out. She went to prison for a while. She was like a biker chick.
Okay.
So that just explains most of that right there.
Yeah.
She worked at Easy Rider magazine, which I thought was the coolest thing ever
For
when I was a
sure.
kid, because I love the motorcycle culture.
Yeah. But you lived with your dad and stepmom.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy is that you don't hate a person as much if they're not around.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I love my mom, like without a doubt.
Right.
But my mom wasn't there for me. My dad was, but I can't stand my dad.
Right.
Like, I don't know, it's a trip.
Yeah. You know, I feel like I've even learned that about myself later in life, but kids used to always ask me, like, growing up, like, what's it like not having a dad? And I was like, I don't know. Never had one. I have no idea what it's like to not have one, because that's all I know.
You've never?
No. I mean, I think I was probably like 2 or 3 when they got like divorced, and then from the time I was like an adult, from childhood to adult, I saw him maybe 3 times.
Oh, dang.
So like I never saw him, but as a kid I didn't know what I was missing because I never had it.
Yeah.
So kids used to always ask that, like, how's it like not having a dad? I'm like, I don't know. And they would ask, like, are you mad at your dad? I'm like, well, what would I be mad at him for?
It's
like,
hard,
never around. Like, I don't know, he didn't do anything.
Exactly. It's so
In
weird.
fact,
Like, abandonment is not enough for being angry if it happened early enough. I don't know.
It's not as powerful as like abuse that's present. Whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, like mental, like I feel like that is more damaging. And it wasn't until later as an adult, probably even after we got married, that I realized how much even emotional trauma that I went through from my mom. It wasn't until I was out of being under that I realized, like, I don't really, I mean, aside abandonment, like my dad actually didn't do anything to me. But then like living under emotional, mental, all of that with my mom was, I think, more damaging.
But, for sure. I can see that.
Yeah, for sure. So then so you're in this crack house, and then that becomes normal. Like, how did you like feel growing up being around that?
So if you've ever been to a tweaker pad or anything, like anyone who could relate, it's a whole different. If you watch the movie Spun, Spun is such a good representation of what a tweaker pad would look like.
Oh, sure.
We're talking floor that's absolutely disgusting. Like if you were to walk on it, your feet would just be grease blacked.
Right.
Piss, crap. Just armrests of the couch completely just a whole different color, demolished, nasty, just throws over it, just like mask it. Febreze, we had nonstop Febreze at that house. I used to have to spray the floor with foam vacuum spray, which is crazy.
Right.
Like I would never do that to my house, even though we don't have carpet downstairs. And so, I mean, there was a time where we had probably 20 plus rats in our house that were all from a pet rat. That mated with another rat. Yeah. And my stepmom, being a tweaker, they had this weird relationship with animals, and they'll take in any animal. They'll do weird stuff. My
mom did the same thing, not tweaker, but just mentally gone. Yeah. So same thing, taking any animal.
Yeah, it's a trip. Weird. And now for me, like for animals, just offset. Like people love animals. I love animals. It's fine, but like I don't have that. If my animal gets sick, it gets sick. Like. I'm not going to go spend $2,000-$3,000 to get it fixed up. Yeah. And sorry if you guys do that with your animals.
I know. I feel bad admitting it, but I have no emotional connection to animals either.
I cut that off because when I was a kid, I did, and it was I would cry and I would try to pick up any animal that would come in. And now that when I'm older, like you can't. Yeah. You have a house unless you have a huge yard. Go ball out. But like.
And your kids become your priority, and like you're home and like all of that. Yeah.
And so with my dogs now, I love them, but like. It's just they're going to live their life of an animal. Right. So I used to sleep in my room I never had a bed. Okay. It was always a sofa or whatever. They would never get me a bed. Yeah. And I would wake up to rats running across my body. No. Every night.
Heck no.
And so there was this movie that came out when I was in high school, some rat movie, Willard or something Rat King, and my water polo team found out. Oh. And they would just call me the Rat King and crap. Oh my God. That is the
awful. Worst.
Awful.
What is wrong with kids?
I don't know. Because for me, it's easy to make fun of me because I make fun of myself, so I'm vulnerable in that sense.
Okay, so you kind of asked for
so
it.
People, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I was just like, yeah, my life's whatever.
Yeah.
Tweaker pad, it's not my fault. And I always knew that. So like I always knew that like I'm not this.
Right.
This is where I live, and this is how they live, but I'm not that. And I knew growing up that I wanted to try drugs because I had this stupid thing. I want to know what it feels like in case my kids do it. Right?
That's like the best.
That was my justification for everything. So I tried I'll just tell you all the drugs I did do because I just wanted mushrooms, marijuana, which freaked me out. I cannot smoke weed, even though I'm pro weed. I cannot smoke it. It freaks me out. I did a lot of cocaine and ecstasy, and then I didn't do acid or heroin or meth. I didn't want to do meth because my parents did it.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm not them.
Right. Of course not. Yeah. So
Cocaine's
different.
way higher on my society.
Okay.
And so that was the extent of everything, and that ended like when I was like 17. Obviously, when I had a baby, like that was done.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah.
But as far as like
nobody ever called CPS,
dude.
I'm like thinking because you're in public school, right? And if like at some point, like somebody eventually, it always gets back to the teachers.
Yeah,
I guess it doesn't always.
But no, teachers in that time, 90s, early 2000s, like. They're like either oblivious or they just don't care enough. Like they know, but they're like, whatever, dude, I can't stand you. You're a class clown. I can't stand whatever.
Right. Well, when you're the brat.
Because how do you not know if a kid's a class clown? There must be something going on.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so we had CPS come one time, and it was a joke. Nothing came of it.
That is wild.
It was a joke. And it was so damn embarrassing was that it was a girl on the water polo team that I knew very well. It was her sister that came to our house.
She
and
was
I was like, of freaking course. It would be someone that I know of someone. Like
she worked for the state kind of thing? Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, hi.
Yeah, that's humiliating.
Yeah,
for sure.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I would never have friends over, just my best friends.
Yeah.
And hats off to them for spending the night because that house smelled so bad.
Right.
It was awful.
Yeah. I had one best friend spend the night at my house one time. And I think now as a parent, her mom was probably like, couldn't sleep at night, knowing. But like, I spent the night at her house every single night for like 5 years straight. So for her mom to let her come into my house, she was probably like, I hope you come back in one piece. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, same thing. I just spent as much time away from my house as possible.
Oh,
but
same. I actually moved out when I was 15.
Oh, okay. Where'd you go?
To a friend's house.
Yeah. And then did your friend's parents, were they like, what's your situation?
My dad made some kind of like agreement. Like, I'll do your tile if my son can live here.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Because I don't get it. And I was there for 3 to 4 months, 5 months, and then I went back to my house where it was just absolute crap show, like bad, done for it. I was like, whatever, and I just stuck through it.
Right.
And then I moved out again once I had my baby, so like 17 something, and then I moved to my friend's house. I was out by 15. I checked out way early, but I hated it. My dad would tap on the window in the middle of the night, trying to get in the house, and because he was kicked out.
Sure.
Freaking just disturbing stuff.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you become a dad at 17.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how was that transition? Did you get your own apartment?
You know what?
Like, what did you guys do when you first...
Lived at my mother-in-law's house. She hated me.
Okay.
God, she hated me.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we just got her 17-year-old pregnant.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why wouldn't she hate you?
Well, she wasn't. Harmony wasn't 17.
Oh, sure. Oh, how old?
She's 3 years older than me.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah. Well, 2.5 for a while. Then she's 3 years.
Sure.
She's 84. I'm 87.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically 2.5 years older. Yeah.
But
okay.
Let's go back though. When I was 12 years old and I first saw Harmony, like I was like, oh my god, like heck yeah, like I fell in love immediately.
Hot 15-year-old. Yeah.
And so then when I turned 15, I just grew a pair and I was like, let me kiss you, and oh god, yeah, and it worked out.
Look at that. And you guys are still together.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the odds were not in your favor.
No.
So that's great. Oh,
I know.
awesome.
I love when people always tell me that statistics. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, at first it was hard.
Yeah.
But as far as like transitioning, being 17, I grew up quick. I was already grown.
Yeah.
Of
course. When you're making mac and cheese for kids, when you're 7 years old and you're feeding the family dinner, you're grown.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought I was more mature too because I was going to parties in high school and I was responsible. I could hold my own when I drink and I did, the stupid things you think when you're a kid that you're an adult.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was far past. Like I look at 17, 18-year-olds right now. I'm like, dude.
Oh yeah.
My mindset was so far from yours.
Yes.
Like you're still like 12.
Yes. Yeah, you're a child.
And I mean that's what trips me out.
Right.
That's how far.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys aren't ready.
Oh yeah.
You guys are not ready for the real world.
It trips me out.
Yeah.
But that's because they come from a product of good household. That's
Right.
really what it is.
Yeah, doing everything for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the transition wasn't too hard, honestly.
Okay.
It was
and
just
then how
trying to
long
find a
did you
job.
live there?
Maybe like 3-4 months. And,
Okay.
and then we got
Well,
an
that's not
apartment
bad.
with a friend,
Yeah.
roommate.
Okay.
That was awful.
Yeah.
Because we just wanted to party every weekend. We didn't get our
Yes.
stuff together for a while. So.
Okay. So you partied and with the baby.
Yeah,
was
17
it?
to
Yeah.
18. About 19 years old, we moved on our own. And that's when we got custody of all my brothers and sisters,
Okay.
which was wild.
So how old were you? You were 18 or 19?
19.
19.
Yeah.
And you got custody of all of them. How many total?
Oh, man. Melissa, Jordan, Jacob, Isabella, India, 5. And Harmony was pregnant,
Okay.
which was another on purpose, by the way.
Trapped her once more.
I wanted another baby.
Yes.
And I had a good job at the casino.
Yeah.
And so things were right. And so we
Right.
did that. And so, yeah, and she was pregnant. So there was 6 kids and then 1 on the way. And we tried our hardest to keep them all, but it just was not a thing. It was just not feasible. It was like awful.
Yeah.
I mean, we almost split up a few times.
Oh, sure.
And so we found a amazing woman named Tani. She took we kept 2 of them. She took the rest. And
Okay.
she ended up getting another one because my stepmom had a baby in jail,
Whoa. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is insane. So she ended up taking another one. And then she had another one, I
Okay.
think, in jail. Or this
Sure.
one was maybe born or in a meth house. I don't know. The other one was born in jail. And I met the nurses that adopted her. So I have another sister out there that I'll not really ever
Yeah.
know too much of, but like I keep in touch with those
Right.
that couple.
I'm losing tracks. We're at like 12 now, right? Like,
And then I have my mom was my brother and sister who I barely
Okay.
know too. So
Yeah.
But when I'm this age, 32, I don't feel guilt for
No, of
that
course
because
not.
I'm
course
just
not.
older, you know. Like
Yeah.
I can't give myself to everything. Like
Of
so
course,
I already
yes.
let go of all that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You just have to be the best you can be for your own children.
Yeah, you guys can come
Yeah.
over sometimes, but
Yeah.
I can't go out of my way.
Yeah.
So.
Totally. Okay, so you're raising all of your siblings. Do you guys have your own
So-
house at this point, or?
So we got a house. We could
Okay.
not afford it. We got an expedition. We could not afford it. Like,
Okay.
who let us do this?
Yes.
We ended up taking on tons of debt because we
Yeah.
were just trying to like see what would work.
Yeah.
And so it didn't work. We found the home. We kept the 2 oldest, and we ended up raising them for 7 years.
Okay.
My sister's now she graduated college. She's a teacher.
Yeah.
So score. My
Like
brother
brought them to 18 kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then my brother, he does HVAC stuff in Colorado. So
Yeah.
good job.
Right.
Then my other brother, who's with Tani, he's going to college and stuff. So
Yeah.
everything's good, and all their kids go
Yeah.
to school.
That's incredible. You guys should be seriously really proud because
Yeah.
being 19, like not
Thanks.
qualified probably to even like start your own family,
Oh,
but
gosh.
then like adding in
Oh, yeah.
like a bunch of other kids
Yeah.
on top of it who
Oh,
were
it was nuts.
under other influences, so they probably didn't even come in whole to
Oh,
begin
no.
with.
Yeah,
so
that was
like
hard,
I
too.
could imagine that what you dealt with was all of
Oh,
their
yeah.
baggage on top of it.
But see, Harmony, she's very advanced in thinking, and so she had to, I guess, raise me in a sense too, and so that was a lot of our issue too, is her having to like baby me because I
Sure.
didn't.
Yeah.
There's
You were a
there's a lot of
child.
mannerisms I
Yeah.
wasn't good at that she
Yeah.
was aware of, and she'd
Sure.
have to teach me. I'm like, dude, you don't get it. I'm not doing that. Like that's
Yeah.
not normal, and it
Yeah.
turns out it was normal.
Yeah.
And so it was really hard, but luckily Harmony was just something else. Like
Yeah.
there's no way that it would have been done without her. Like that's what
Right.
trips me out. Like
Right.
she is, because I was just another kid too.
Yeah.
She was literally raising me, so
Yeah.
it's just
Totally.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so we grew up in this drug house. You have a baby at 17. You're raising now your brothers and sisters, and then now fast forward, you're like doing really well, photography, have
Yeah.
a couple businesses, top of your
Yeah.
fitness game. So
Yeah.
where'd that gap? Like
Wow.
at what point did that transition? Like, how did you start then pursuing your dream and not
Okay.
just living like the rat race? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. So I was working warehouses because I got fired from San Manuel. Being a kid, I got 2 pages of write-ups just doing stupid stuff
for
because
sure.
I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to like find jobs anywhere I could, warehouses, whatever.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take it, and I was and then Harmony was going to school, and so I think I ended up just staying home while she would go to school, or I was working while she was going to school, and then when she started working, I stayed home,
Okay.
and I was like, I'm gonna have a plan. And
Yeah.
then one day I watched a commercial that we always see, like Everett College, whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
those are funny commercials.
Yeah, for sure.
and it was for probation officer. And I was like, heck yeah, I love youth because I was doing youth stuff for CBC in San Bernardino.
Okay.
And I was like, I would love to just work with problem youth because I was a youth that was a problem.
Yeah, you felt like you could relate.
Yeah, exactly. I ended up getting a scholarship or whatever money you get for that school loan for that. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this. And so I used that loan to go to a vocational school for respiratory because my stepmom did respiratory, Harmony did respiratory, and was doing it while I was going to school. So I ended up going to school for that.
Okay.
And that was one of the hardest things ever because school was never my thing.
Right.
I failed every single class. I had to take over classes and do my hours over and over and over again.
No.
Oh, it took me so long. I almost tripled my hours that I had to do than other
You're
people.
kidding.
It was awful. I failed my test 7 times. Just
No.
Yeah, that was $150 a pop.
Dude,
and
you kept going.
Yeah, and 2 of the times for that test. One time I forgot my wallet. I was so nervous.
Oh, sure.
One time I was a day late. I was so nervous.
Oh my God.
So that's $300 I just put down the drain, and we didn't have a lot of money. So that was 2010, 2011, 12-ish.
Yeah.
And then I ended up becoming a respiratory therapist. It all worked out. Got tests. Like, oh my gosh, I finally passed.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing home care for respiratory. Thank God, because if I would have been in the hospital, I would not be where I am right now. Because hospitals, you work weekends, and it would have just God's plan, 100%.
Yeah.
Like that's why all throughout my life. It's insane that I didn't go the routes that I did. Like, it's obvious that there was a plan for me.
Right.
And it just trips me out. And it's just still going, which we'll get into later about public speaking and stuff, which is a trip.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my home care, and I go to 7-Eleven, and I was just going to 7-Eleven to get money out the ATM, but the Brinks dudes were there getting the money out the ATM, so I went inside to get water or whatever, or Powerade, and I get a scratcher, a $10 scratcher, which is nothing new to me, because I get scratchers every once in a while. But this time I haven't got one in a while, and I got one, and I go sit down in the car, and I just scratch it, and it says $20,000, and I just started crying. I was like, what?
Oh my God. And how old were you at this point?
This was, I think, 5 years ago, 2014.
It's like mid-20s kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And what's crazy is that just to tie this part in with God, which is absolutely insane, when my stepmom's adopted mother passed away, she left 4 of my siblings over $100,000 a piece and nothing for me.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. Like, because I was a dickhead.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And she got me a motorcycle for $5,000 years prior to help me commute, and I didn't pay her back for that.
But she was holding grudges.
Which is insane.
She was holding some grudges.
My $5,000 loan screwed me over $100,000.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely insane to me. But good for the kids. You know, they got their college, they got their cars, whatever they did.
Yeah.
So when that happened to me, because during the same time I was obviously thinking how unfair it was. What the heck?
Yeah.
I could have paid off all my debt.
Yes.
I hit this $20,000.
Right.
Which is crazy. And during that same time, I was gonna use my tax return to buy a camera, and obviously nothing to that price point with my tax return. So I ended up buying a really good entry-level camera, and I wanted to start doing photo and video, photo mainly. And then it turns out I had a gift for photo, which I didn't really know. I just knew like I could take a photo.
Sure.
And that sparked a whole new path, which has completely changed my life, which is insane, because all my plan was to do is be a respiratory therapist for the rest of my life. Which is fine, totally fine. 3 days a week, 4 days off. Like it'd probably be a way less stressful life.
Sure.
I mean, because I am constantly working.
Yeah.
And that's not to brag. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fix that without taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
You know, so I just want to keep the flow. Of money. So that's how I became a photographer, and I've shot over 100 weddings now.
Wow.
I've shot in France and Norway, and I'm going to shoot in Italy next month, and I've shot all across the United States.
Yeah.
In that 4 years or whatever, I think that's my senior year in wedding photography, and videography.
That's incredible.
It's crazy.
It's crazy how, like, even just, like, the small ripples, like, we just don't even realize that happened. Because if that Brinks guy wasn't outside
I would have just went to the ATM and then left.
And, like, how completely and utterly different could your entire life look right now?
For sure.
You know what I mean? Isn't that wild?
It's insane. It's absolutely insane, which is why I can only, like, put it up to it's God's plan.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I think we all have those God's plan moments, but, like,
right.
just all throughout my life, I can pinpoint where there was, I don't know, an angel or something happen in my life where like,
I totally agree.
Wow.
Yes.
That's how I got here. What's next?
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think is next?
So I'm a huge believer of, if you want something and you put your mind to it, I know everyone says that, and you actually go toward that something, doors that you never seen before open up, which is absolutely insane. You never seen them because you weren't going toward them.
Totally.
So there's a whole, once you step into that realm, you are going to see everything, and you are going to see a network of people and people that want to be with you and work with you and do things.
Yeah.
So I would even venture to say, 8 years ago, I wanted to do public speaking. I met a lady who did that for a living. Yeah. I thought it was great. I filmed it on a crappy camera. So it's always been in my mind that I wanted to speak to teenagers. Yeah. And so, I mean, like a year and a half ago, I met with this girl, and she works at Arroyo Valley High School, and she was like, hey, do you want to be on the board for the DMA class? I think it's DMA. Yeah. It's like just all the media arts. So like photo, video, illustrator. Right.
So random, because you're not working in the school district.
No, not at all. And I don't look like someone who does either.
No, we don't.
I have tattoos, so if you don't know who I am,
covered,
sorry. Yes, okay. And so that became I go to the classroom and just talk to the whole class into an invite to go and speak in front of like 350 kids that are all in this program. Right. And I got to do that today, this morning. Right. Oh my gosh. I didn't get any sleep last night.
Well, of course not.
I can't believe that. I'm not the type of person. I'm very extroverted. I'm insane. I'm high strung. Yeah. But like if you give me coffee, it does nothing.
But there's different between like being extroverted and comfortable with it than like feeling like you're on the brink of something that like you're called to do, or like the brink of like a new path, or like pursuing a passion. Like there's just a different level of like anticipation or whatever it is. But I would imagine that I wouldn't have slept.
I mean, I had a weird dream. Like Lil Yachty was in my dream.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was trying to take a picture with him. My phone wouldn't work. That's because I was having anxiety and stress. So that manifests in my dream.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I swear I didn't get any sleep. It's weird. Yeah. I don't even remember sleeping, just my dreams a little bit. Right. But I wake up in the morning and I didn't even write down my speech. I just know my story so well. Right. But the hardest part was trying to, tie it in good and actually have an ending to the story. Yeah. So. Yeah.
And I told you this, and it wasn't like your favorite advice for me, but that like this is as worse as it's gonna get. Like this, you did it, and that's as bad as it's gonna get, because, and maybe you'll have other bad times, but it's like, the more you do it, then the more comfortable, and then like you figure out the things along the way. Yeah. There's no way to figure out your gaps until you are there and you find the gaps. Yeah, for sure. Like you can go over it in your mind a million times, but until you're actually walking it out, you'll never know what you need to work on, what went well.
Yeah, and so we like filmed you did it. We filmed it, and we had a lot of kids afterwards telling me like, "Oh, I really liked your story."
Oh, of course.
Someone messaged me, it's like, "Damn, that's all that matters." Story. As long as one person tells me, heck
yeah. And it's like, I think that we're the hardest critic on ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
Everyone else in the room was way more impressed than you were with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You forget like where you stand when you're talking to people, because I'm talking to teenagers, but in my head they're equivalent to me. Like they're where I am. Yeah. But they aren't. They're teenagers. Yeah. And so that's what I have to like remember. Like whatever I say is going to be something that they've never.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
because they don't have your
experience. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But in my head they have.
Yeah.
That's how I'm like, dang it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's incredible. At any point, did you ever have somebody speaking into your life where you feel like that's something that you like want to offer, or do you want to offer that to people because you feel like you didn't have that?
Oh, man. I think, like I said, like throughout my life, there were little moments where people would step in and say things. A lot of friends, parents and stuff that would treat me as if I was just a normal kid, take me out, not ask me to pay for anything, just weird stuff like that would really mean a lot to me. Right. There were people that would tell me like, you have a gift for just being like me, just extroverted and nuts. Yeah. And so that kind of always played in my head, which gave me confidence to be the person that I am. Sure. And so it's weird to remind myself that I do have the ability to step into someone's life and tell them like, hey, you're killing it. Hey, you're doing really good. Like my words will actually mean like they have weight. Yeah. Which in my head they don't. Right. But I know that they do. Yeah. I have to keep reminding myself. Right. And so like I try to look for those moments, especially with my kids. And it's weird to like tell my oldest something and she like Like the other day she cried and I was like, oh man, like I did it. Heck yeah.
Yes,
go
I
me.
did it.
Like I actually got through to her, you know?
Yeah. Because not even just in the natural sense, but in like an emotional or like spiritual sense, you've transitioned from being the child to the father.
Yeah.
And so in
exactly.
any circumstances, anybody that is still in the position of being a child, whether they're even in their mid-20s, whatever, if they're still in that like in that mentality of like needing a father, you are now in the position to pour into that for the rest of your life. You can be the father. You know what I mean?
So when I was younger, like I didn't think that I was equipped enough to be the father, so I didn't like disciplining, and I did it the half-ass way.
Because you were a child, so you shouldn't have been that. Yeah.
Now I don't do it half-ass. I sit down and I talk with them, and I say things like whatever. I let Harmony go first because she's freaking wisdom galore. Sure. But then I come in with my own thing, you know, because my own thing is I don't like to raise my kids the majority way. Yeah. You know? Right. Which gets them in trouble a little bit, but that's what life's about. I don't know. I just think that we're wild and free and we shouldn't be, you know, what's, you know what I'm saying? Constrained by our parents. Like, anything. And our peers and stuff. Like, I don't give a crap what anyone thinks about my parenting. Like, my kids are going to be rad because they didn't have any limits. Yeah. You know, obviously, I tell them to go to bed at a certain time. I'm talking about personality limits. And I know the respect stuff and all that stuff, but like, they have so much character and so much just other things that are trippy to me. And I'm like, dang, we did it. Like, that's cool. Right.
Because at the end of the day, like, we were designed to be free. We were never designed to be controlled. So the sooner we can, like, realize that about our kids, the better off they'll be. Because they're going to figure it out anyway. They're going to demand their freedom in one way or another. Yeah. So it's either in our home under our, like, guidance or they're going to demand freedom once they get out from underneath us, and then it's just going to be wild.
Like, she's in high school, and I know how high school works. Right. And I don't ever want her to feel like I'm going to just keep that a secret. Yeah. I'm not going to be a naive parent. Right. I refuse to be naive and think that my child is an angel, you know? Right. Things are going to happen, but I want to be there when that happens. Like, okay, you screwed up. You called me. I'm going to come get you. There you go. We're going to talk about it. Right. Yeah. So. Well, that's good. Well, your kids are lucky to have you because of the things that you've gone through. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so then in the midst of all of this, you're like, you know, now also on the top of your fitness game. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about the embarrassing stuff first. Okay. I've been doing CrossFit for, I think, 4 years now. Mm-hmm. And I was that guy that, you do CrossFit? Like,
oh, stop. Yes.
Well, because I had never changed. Like, I looked like the same. In fact, I was getting heavier. Right. And I don't mean muscle heavy. Right. I was getting fat. Yeah. And obviously that was weighing on my confidence. It was weighing on my motivation. I was depressed. I had high anxiety. Mm-hmm. And so in April, I was playing poker. Okay. And this guy told me...
good can come out of gambling. Am I right?
So poker is strategic, okay? It's not gambling. Okay. And so I was talking to this guy, and he's like, yeah, dude, I'm doing the 75 hard challenge. And I was like, what the heck is that? And he told it to me, and I was like, there's no freaking way.
Yeah. So what is the 75 hard, in case nobody knows?
Yeah, it's 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes
I'm
apiece.
already out. Okay.
Because one's indoor, one is outdoor. It has to be literal workouts. You can't be mowing the lawn or something. Right. 1 gallon of water a day. Yeah. Progress photos every day. A diet with no cheat meals. Oh my gosh. So whatever diet you want that to be. Totally. If you want it to be all ding dongs, no, I'm just kidding. It has to be a legit diet. Yeah. And then what was the last one? So
the book.
The book. 10 pages of a book, but it has to be like a self-help entrepreneurial book. Okay. And no alcohol, which was a part of the diet, which is fine for me. Sure. I don't really I drink, but like it's not like, oh man, I'm gonna miss that. Yeah. In fact, every time I drink, I hate it. I'm like, ugh, I feel like crap now.
You ever feel like going back to like straight edge?
No, God, no.
Okay, good.
No way. My life has been 10 times better. I was straight edge for 7 years, but like. Not to promote drinking, but dang, life's way better. Okay, great. Okay. Have some wine, whatever. Yeah. That helped me get through a lot too, by the way. Thank God for straight edge. Yeah. And God. Yeah. And so 75 hard in April. Mm-hmm. I did 21 days of it. I was on my game, and then the guy announced like, "Oh, if you're doing audiobooks, you better start the frick over." And I was like, "No!" And so, but in that 21 days, my mind already changed my attitude. I didn't even say, "Oh, I'm gonna go binge then. Screw this. I'm starting over tomorrow. Let's go get a ton of sushi." Yeah. No, I was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna go to bed and just day one." Yeah. Which was insane to me because the old me would have been like, pissed off because it's 21 days.
Oh, totally.
So I just
of like hell.
Yeah.
So like,
absolutely. Yeah. And so But so in that 21 days, it makes your mental like fitness insane. And so when I started over, I was like, bring it on. I'm gonna be that much stronger when I hit 75 because I'm at 96. You know. And so I started over, and I ended up finishing like July 27th or something like that. So not like a week ago or something like that. Yeah. And I lost 13% body fat.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And my goal was to get into the teens of body fat because I was already at like 30%. And so I got to 17% body fat, lost about 40 pounds.
Wow.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
And I haven't been this skinny
especially just in 75 days.
Yeah. 96.
96, technically, yes.
And I've never been this skinny or happy. I mean, I've been happy a lot of times, but like clarity, everything. And since I was like 19, I mean, I don't know. And so that has played a huge part. I mean, some people, fitness is not for them, but I think entrepreneurs and things like that, like you have to.
Yeah. I don't think that people realize the connection of body and mind. Oh, yeah. And so it's like, especially when like an entrepreneur, it's like you have to be on top of your mental game. Yeah. If you're not, then you get eaten alive and everything under you crumbles. Yeah. Because it's not like you can just clock in, clock out. Yeah. Like you always are on. And if you can't be on mentally, then like everything falls apart. And so, and we just don't even realize the connection of physical to mental to be able to support that.
Because if you feel good and you look good, like you're gonna give more of yourself during a meeting, during a presentation, anything. You're just gonna kill it even more because of that confidence. Yeah. So that definitely changed my life, and I'm still keeping on with my diet, drinking water. I absolutely hate reading. Yeah. So I do not read. I can't. I'm so glad that's gone.
But you did it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
God,
and
I'm glad that's gone.
The thing is, you did it. You committed and you did it. Yeah. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Well, good. Yeah. Is there anything that any advice that you could give any person that could be listening to this who has yet to either A, they use their circumstances as an excuse for not pursuing what they want, or B, the fear of not pursuing their passion because of fear?
Yeah. First thing that comes to mind is victim. You absolutely cannot play the victim. You can't pull the victim card. If you keep feeling sorry for yourself and you keep saying, well, it's not fair that I don't get, and it's not my fault that I didn't get. You can't do that. Yeah. Because that is going to weigh you down, dumb you down to just level of misery. Yeah. And so when you tell yourself that regardless of what I've been through, regardless of where I'm at, I can make a life for myself. Yeah. I have that power. I have that control. I can do that. Yeah. Regardless of my of the funds that I would need or anything like that, you just got to start. Yeah. And whatever that looks like and whatever you're trying to do, you just got to start. Yeah. I don't even care if it's a status or if it's an email or if it's knocking on our door, if it's, I don't know, a video that you want to put up. Like, you just have to start, even if you think it's small. It's just the beginning of something. Like I said, the doors will open. You'll be in a different realm. Once you're walking towards that thing, it is absolutely insane. Yeah. It is a trip.
Yeah. That's so good. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
Between your public speaking gig and then now you're off to like
another meeting.
Yeah. I thank you so much for taking the time.
No, thank you. It's so fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope that you found this episode inspiring or encouraging and just life-giving. And as always, I appreciate any and all positive feedback, keynote positive feedback. So tag me, message me, go on iTunes and leave a review, rate, subscribe, because that's how podcasts stay alive. And I didn't even mean to rhyme there, so that works. So you can find me on Instagram at beautifully.intentional, and that's where I hang out. That's where you can kind of see me in my own personal life. And so thank you so much for listening in. Until next time.